Alrighty folks, so now we're out on the whistling duck. We're checking up on this boy to see how he fared in the weather down here at Taranna in Little Norfolk Bay. Just had to wrestle a whole bunch of water out of the kayak to paddle out. Not too bad is the weather. I have a little window, so here's an update for you. All in all, fared pretty well. Didn't get much rain down here, which is good, because but they also got some chop. So this bottle jack has fallen off his perch, so he goes up there, but we'll relocate him in a minute. This here, I mean, it must have got pretty wild, because this fan, we zoom out a bit, this fan goes up here, so I've got to put him on charge anyway, but that's where he lives while I'm in between the boats, just to keep the air flowing through here. And it's working really well, because when I first got on, there was condensation, there was drips, so we're getting there bit by bit. Not much rain, so that means not much water got down in here, which is good. It could also mean that up top, we'll see up top, if you're happy to, you know, stay locked in and see what this little video is going to reveal. So that's, geez, that's good, eh? So this, so you can see, I might just leave him, I'll leave him in there, and you can see here the help of a local fella. We put this together. So this was a drawing on a bit of paper, and then I mocked up with some wood. Where's that little bit? I mean, that's part of it, that's from the offcuts. And then so, I mean, while you're here, why not? It's a classic, whilst you're here. Okay. Oh, that's falling down too. Put that away. Where's that board? So this is demo, right? That goes there, and then you can see this is a jack mount coupling for the mast, to lift the mast up. And I had to go with the bit of wood, and it lifted this up a little bit. So that was enough to go, okay, if we go metal, then it should work. In theory, it should work. This is a 4-ton bottle jack, and basically the wood gave away just under the weight of it all. But that's the major thing that's got to happen down here on Ducky Boy, is you've got to lift this up, and then this side, on this side, this is a bracing. Okay, so it's back to front. The longer side needs to be on the jack side. That's just for demonstration. And then here will just simply be just a 2x4. So under the bracing of the 2x4 and the bottle jack, that'll keep this mast elevated. It doesn't need to go high. I just need to bring it up to there to get it over the rise of this step, so I can take that step out, get it off that chunk of wood, wire brush it up, spray it with some zinc or galvanise. Geez, what's going on up there? I've got a new bit of wood lined up. I think that's up the top. I've got to bring that in. And then modify here a little bit. Couple of ideas is the rubber car park bumpers. You may or may, I found out that you can get them in Bunnings. They sell them in Bunnings, right? Or it's basically a plastic moulding and you can bolt through it, but we're not bolting here. The idea is I'm just going to cut that down to fit in here real snug, to fit in there real snug, and then we're putting the wood across the top of that, you see, and then bang. I don't even know if I'll screw this back into the wood. I'm umming and ahhing about that, you see. I may have angle iron each side of the mast, and that'll create another a seat or a collar to this base to help minimize twisting. So I'll screw that in. So next time that it comes around, this maintenance will be so much easier. So that's that. So I'm pretty chuffed. Right, pretty chuffed how that's all come about. Right. So that can go up in there. Alright, that's the main mission, was to come back down and check on Ducky Boy, on the whistling duck. And oh, hang on. That's the one issue though with this boat. This back build. Where's that bit of board? It takes on quite a bit of water. Yeah, see that sponge is floating, so we'll need to take care of that. And this little fan is just an absolute champ. It's a Kmart buy from days gone by. It's been with me for some time. It's a little USB, and that little fan, he runs 24/7. And all I've done is so you got a little USB socket clipped in. So what modified these, I just put little female clips. We got 13.5 volts running in, UBOT. So that's all working well, all is in order. And that's, as I said, that's helping keeping a constant airflow through here. So if I am away for a bit and there's water in, it really does minimize condensation. And those cupboard camels, they also come in handy too. Right, so that's that. Yeah, that boy, he was full of water. Bloody full of water. Okay. So we've got to be quick so I can take advantage of this wind. I've got to get back over yonder. You see? Okay, that's, yeah, the island. Okay, we got some wind down here, mate. We really did get some wind. It was about 100, I think top was 120 up at Hobart. So what I've done here, there was an ugly thing going on here. And this is what I will be going for. And anyone who's got a kill step mast, obviously this is not the end result, but hear me out. But basically, this is how you can do it. You just make a boot out of a poncho. This I got this to wear on the boat, but I'm not really a fan of ponchos. I find them a little, what's the word, encumbersome. They're a bit annoying. Yeah, I find them more annoying than useful, but this is working well here. You see? And geez, we did get some bloody wind, eh? Okay, so I need to fix that up, but basically that was like that. Look. See? Tethered there. And then tethered down there. And I've got it wrapped up. And if there was any rain, and this did fall apart, just the way it is like that, that's helped minimise a lot of water, because the pulleys that come out of here for the sheep, you see, or the lines, see there, and that's covering the top of that one there. So I think a lot of water was actually hitting the pulley and running on the back end of the pulley down through that mast, and has contributed to the rot of that mast step base. Yeah, I mean, we're getting there. Not all I've got to do is get that base back in, and I'll be able to put the boom back on, because really at the end of the day, as the saying goes, and besides redoing these windows, because as much as this looks aesthetically pleasing from afar, this type of system is really not that practical, right? And just a quick caveat, if that's the word to use here, is that silicon has to work along that whole joint, you see, and that's why they have screws at a certain distance, right? There's too much flex. Doesn't matter how you can get the best silicon in the world. So what I'll be doing is I'll be cutting it and then putting it back in panels, so that the whole thing doesn't flex. It's a bit like a concrete footpath. I remember I asked my dad about why they put lines in the concrete on the footpath. Why isn't it just all one part? He said, well, that's to help, I believe the word's mitigate the flex. So if there isn't any flex in that concrete, it'll crack at that crease and not take that stress all the way through the concrete. He goes, so if that cracks, then you only have to repair that part. Okay, that makes sense. So the same concept is my approach with these type of windows, and why, if you look at how they've been made for years and years and years and years and years, or portholes are your best friend, really, because water can't really sit on a circle. Think about that one, which I'm happy to actually do. Might take a bit of work, but I like that idea. But anyone who like wants this type of, I guess you could call it sunglass look, like, it does look good. I've had quite a lot of comments. Is, I would say, cut it up into sections, and then put it back into sections, because from afar you can't tell, oh look, they've put it in sections. You can't tell. You have to get right up on and go, oh, I see what you've done here. Well, that's smart. See, things can look good, but that doesn't mean they've been put together in a smart way. It's better to be smart than to be sorry, right? But all in all, looking good. The mooring ropes held up well. Doesn't look like I've got too much of a chain rash. Experimenting here, suspending I was going to say axe, the anchor. Rightio. And I'm considering actually getting a little cover for him when he's not in use, like an actual anchor bag. There'd probably something like that exists out there. Help keep things out of the weather. And then down here, what I do is I do a bit of a hitching, or you could call this a berthing hitch, right? The old bridge over two rivers. Ever since I come across that video, I always remember that. So thank you to that chap. And then that helps actually lock in this mooring, right? Because I get quite a lot of flex going on. It'll just help minimize any movement like this and then the popping off. Yeah, don't want that happening, right? So that's locked in. Like there's no, he's locked in. And then undraw that tension. So you can see how much movement we've got, because see that sleeve? That sleeve has actually worked itself off. So, geez, eh? When you look on the map, this looks like a really, really well protected mooring. And I'm on the very northern end. I'm actually the most northern vessel here, leader of the fleet. And when the north gets on, it gets on. It really gets on. And based on land and all that, I won't go too deep into the science here. Thank you for all of you still tuning in. That when the west comes in, the north hits, it creates a draft effect, if anyone's following along with that. So that wind actually speeds up, catches up with that northerly wind, and that westerly brings in the speed of the north, if that makes sense. So you'd think, oh, you get protected by the west and you only get the north. No, it's really interesting because there's like a pinching point up there between the headlands. So it sucks. It sucks the north down, and just on intuitively thinking, even though it hits that headland, it probably goes up, then comes down and meets the westerly there. So that wind coming off there is potentially faster than the west, and then so these two winds then just almost get vacuumed, and they go run between that ridge there, and runs between this ridge here, and then goes down through there. Yeah, but thank you to, I believe it's mooring maintenance. Name's Scott. I found out his name's Scott. And so if you come across this, and tell Scott, send me the invoice. Send it down to Tirana Boat Club. Because I've got to pay you, mate. You've done a good job. I appreciate that. Just in good time. New buoy, new chain. We've got a beautiful new rope. And then be working on a floating system. So I lost my stick out of this. This is how much wind we got down here. I had a stick jammed in this. I mean, jammed, hammered in, because whoops. Hey. Put you in. Right, you're not going anywhere now. So I'll show you. My idea. This is cool. This is a gift from another local fella. So this is actually a man over buoy. It's got some reflective tape. Yeah, good old, and this is a good old bit of bamboo. And then look at that for lead ribbon. Hey, how cool is that? So the way this works, you got your float, and then you got the weight, and the weight helps keep this vertical, because it's floating like that, and it wants to go this way, but the lead, and then good old science, the lead wants to come back to the lowest center of gravity. So no matter the bouncy, this always stays upright. And then so that's the concept I'm going to apply with that buoy, and that buoy will sit up, honey. It'll float up there, because at the moment this is my tether line, I guess you call it, or pickup line for the mooring rope. So that floats in the water. And what I want to do is have this buoy with a stick and a weight and then a hook, and then that'll sit on it, you see, and that'll keep it out of the water. And also because when you're single-handed coming in here and you got to reach over the safety lines and try and pick up a line, it's not that friendly. And I've done it in worse conditions than this. So to have the rope sitting up here that I could just grab, it just makes things safer and more comfortable. Yeah, and that's what you want on a boat. Definitely, you want stability, you want safety, and you want comfort. You want practical comfort, and you want things to be easy to reach, and keeping things to a minimum. So I'm really looking forward to getting that jacked up. Then we can put the boom back on him, because this is perfect sailing weather right now. Like, you could really get going in this wind. I reckon we'd easily, I mean, you want to be safe. So with the sails, probably maybe a reef in. First reef in, maybe running half a head sail. You probably get around 3.7, 4.2 knots, and just getting along. Get your bearing, and you could cover some distance. It's really interesting. You think with the motor and all of that, go fast, but I'm sort of hanging out. I'm hanging out to get sailing again, but we got to do things proper. We got to do them well enough. And if this is what I'm picking up too, if you're not going to do it well enough, at least set it up in a way that makes it easier to do it well enough, and do that well enough. Does that make sense? So an example, that jacking, the coupling for the mast for the jacking. So boom, I've done that well enough, which allows me to go, all right, we can just lift this up, get that bit of bloody wood in, boom, bang, boom, bing, bang, boom, put the mast back down, okay, and then that'll give us, that'll get us back on the water. Is it the best? Obviously not, but the good thing is I've done this jacking well enough that it's going to be so much easier just to go bang, lift it up, boom, bing, bang, boom, and put it back in. Because if I think about whoever did that didn't do that the best, and it stood up to the test of time. So all I've got to do is do something that's of an improvement to that, and I'll be good to go. Because at the end of the day, all the weight of that mast is coming down, and you've got the stays coming down. So it's just a matter of tightening that up and reinforcing that, and making sure that the life force that's in that is adequate enough. Then once that's done, the next will be going around and replacing all the bolts on the chain plates. Yeah, that's what's next. So that's what's going on in the world of Captain Kane, restoring the vessel, restoring the man. This is Iron Wake. This has been another moment in the evolution of Iron Wake Maritime. How cool is that? Okay, so I've earned my burger and chips, I reckon. That's what I feel like. I've got a hankering for it. But you know what I'll do? We'll go back up to the Pelican and we'll get nice bits of steak and we'll cook some steak on the coals. You'll be okay. Well, I appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in. And be good, be great, be brilliant. Do what you can with what you've got to get closer to where you'd rather be.